I think this is a time where companies are finally seeing what their role in society can be as it pertains to not just environmental work, which so many sustainable companies think about, but also social justice work. And in the wake of the last 2 weeks, we have seen so many companies step up with anti-racist statements. We have seen them step up with million-dollar donations. We have seen them step up with investments in their D&I departments. And yet those are small and frankly tokenized commitments at the moment. They are a first step. They are certainly incredibly important. But I do hope that we see sustained investment in these efforts and much more of a systemic approach to how they can solve these problems.
And we do forget, because we've been talking about ESG for a number of years now, Anthea, and it's mostly focused on the E. It's mostly focused on the environmental side as well. I cover energy, so of course I've been talking about that a lot. Now we're focusing on the S. A lot of CEOs are probably watching CNBC right now, and they're listening to you, and you're thinking, okay, I can't do everything at one time. I can't be changing my climate program and working for social good and dealing with the G and governance issues. What are some of the realistic steps, actionable steps that CEOs could and should be doing right now?
Well, we've been talking a lot to our own B Corp community about this. There are 1,700 B Corps in the United States, and those companies in particular already take commitments against what we call stakeholder capitalism, made famous by the Business Roundtable late last fall. And so what we're asking our CEOs to do is really take a lens of that S, that social impact idea, and think about it through the lens of their stakeholders. And so those stakeholders being their workers, their customers, their communities, their supply chains, even the environment. There is a social lens to how they can think about the way they interact with the environment. And what we're asking our CEOs to do is ask those questions from a strategic lens, from an operational lens, about what that means. And so, for example, for workers, let's take one of these stakeholders. When you think about your worker practices, as it pertains to, hiring, as it pertains to the support once they're inside the company, once it pertains to how they're interacting with senior leadership in terms of career growth, how are you putting the lens of ensuring that Black and brown and people of color individuals within your organization are part of that conversation? And if you're being so bold, how are they the primary target of that conversation to ensure that those groups who've traditionally been left out of broad-based platforms are part of the center of the conversation?
And again, it's easy to talk. Are you noticing just in your own business, Anthea, are the calls and emails coming in? Are companies saying, we need help? Are they actually now reaching out and starting to address it on a fundamental level? Are you seeing it personally?
Absolutely. Last week, I sent a letter to our B Corp community with a call to action. It essentially started with my own personal experience being a Black woman in America, being a Black business leader, and really understanding what that means as an individual that looks like me, to a majority white coalition of companies, which is the B Corp community in the United States and Canada. And those companies heard me, and they heard that call to action. They are eager to take action. And I don't think we have ever had the volume of inbound requests for us at B Lab to help all of these companies, in addition to companies even outside of our ecosystem, to figure out what is it that we need to do to go on this journey. Yeah. They are certainly primed. They are ready. There are no perfect answers, but there is a lot of work to be done, and they're very keen on making that happen.